Hi, my name is Christopher Baber. This is my demonstration speech. I'm here with my family, or also my audience. My camera guy is also included in my audience, but can't see him. Today I'll be showing you how to make a Cajun chicken Cajun chicken pasta. As you can see, I pre-cooked the noodles and chopped the chicken, some of the garlic, Parmesan, salt, peppers laid out, and the Cajun seasoning and the peppers. So what you will need for this, you can either make it a vegetarian where you can add other veggies besides just peppers, or you can make it a chicken, which the chicken you want to cut thinly, and bite size, so you get a little less of a big chunk in your mouth, so you have to bite it off. So to start by cooking this, you will want to put a little bit of olive oil or butter in your pan and warm your pan. I've already warmed my pan with olive oil, and so I will put the chicken in. So and that is a medium-low heat that I have it on. And you will also put a little bit of salt. I have about a teaspoon of salt here. And you will season the chicken, but you'll want to save some because you will also be seasoning your peppers and other veggies if you wish to put those in. So once the chicken is cooked fully, the next thing you'll put in is your peppers. But you want to wait until they're a little more, it's quite a bit cooked, because you still want that crunch. And the last thing you'll put in is your garlic before putting in the heavy cream or any of that. So I'm constantly stirring to keep it from sticking to the pan. There's a few tricks that I've learned, like how to cut the chicken and stuff like that from being a cook. Also, using different colors gives you a different sort of look to it, a texture and other things like that. So right now the chicken is a little over half cooked. As you can see, there's not as much paint on there. It's turning more white. If you're in a little bit of a rush, you can turn up the heat, or you can keep it lower. So I'm going to add the peppers, which the peppers, usually we cut them to a 1/4 inch thick, or about 1/8 of an inch at the least, just to give you a little more definition to your vegetable. So just mix those in, and then this time you're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I use fresh ground pepper, but I've already grinded it up and put it in a bowl for you to show you instead of using a grinder. And then a little more salt. And right now, if you wanted to be a little more spicy, you could add like crushed red peppers or Cajun at this point. I'm going to add a little bit, but not to the extent of what's needed to change the color of your cream. And usually that's just by eye or taste. So just stirring to make sure that the chicken is getting fully cooked and the peppers are still looking pretty solid and still. Turn up the heat a little more. Now I'm going to add my garlic. Depending on if you like garlic a lot or not, you can mince it and have a little smaller chunks, or you can dice it and have little bigger chunks of garlic so you get the taste of it when you bite into it. So I'm going to go ahead and add that now to the pan. And now all those flavors and smells are really starting to smell pretty good together. And with the garlic, you want it to sit just a little bit, because with it being cut very small or minced or diced, it will disappear pretty quickly. And it can be overcooked very easily. A little more salt, a little more pepper. Little by little. And so at this point, my chicken is pretty well, or is cooked. I cut it pretty thin so it would cook pretty quickly for this video. And when I cut that, I cut it down a bias and then cut it in half. And same with the peppers. I cut it down the bias and then in half. So now I will add the cream, which 2 cups will sufficiently cover this and most of the noodles in a box. Because you also want it to condense so it sticks to the noodles. So right now what you're looking for is for it to start simmering or semi-boiling. Because once it starts boiling, you will want to put it on simmer. So I'm just cleaning that out a bit to make it, to get all the cream out. And before you get too far, now you're going to add the Cajun seasoning, more of it. And this is going to change the color from a pale white to more of a orangish color. I will show you in a second. And this is really by eye to see how hot you want it, or to see the color change. And it hasn't quite changed to the color I want, or consistency. So I'm going to add some more. Yeah, my mom's probably going to think this is a little hot, so. But she has to deal with it. Alright, so I'm just mixing it in and making sure that all of it's covered and all the chicken's covered and the peppers. Better pull that garlic bread. Should have done that. And now it's starting to simmer, which is what you're looking for. Is you're gonna let it simmer for a while and thicken, because it is heavy cream, so you do not need to add any flour or any flour bases. Like with some, if you don't want the flour taste, you can add cornstarch, which will keep the flour taste out. But as this starts to simmer, you do want to mix it a little bit to make sure that it is consistent all the way through. So, and at this point, you add the Parmesan cheese. It's a lot like an Alfredo, where you also use it. Alfredo is usually heavy cream and Parmesan cheese with a little bit of salt and pepper. But so now you're going to add Parmesan cheese. Yeah. So I've added that, and now just mix that in. Even not getting the color I want, but just add a little more. And with this sauce, you could, it depends on how you like your sauces. If you like it a little thicker or a little thinner, that'll slide off the noodles. But the thicker it is, the more it will stick to your noodle. So there's a few tests that you can do to assure that it will. But also you're going to add your noodles, because you want your noodles to be dry. So that's another reason why I did them beforehand. So now I'm going to add some of the noodles to the pan. And this will allow it to cook in with the noodles and keep them from sticking a little better. Another way to keep your noodles from sticking to each other is adding a little bit of olive oil in your water. Another thing is to keep the bubbles down, or the bubbles from boiling over when you have your noodles. Just put a little bit of salt in there, and that'll keep them calm. But so now you just want to mix the sauce in with the noodles and with the peppers and chicken, and let the sauce warm your noodles. So right now it's about as thick as it needs to be to stick to the noodles and to make the perfect dinner for us tonight. So I'm just going to plate this, and it should just slide right out of the pan. And then to top it off, another kind of Parmesan to just go on top. And you put that in, and it's ready to be served. Enjoy. And if you'd like, you can also make a salad. And another thing is cut your garlic bread and have a salad, and your dinner is ready.